Hi guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, bringing you all of the new releases out this week, looking at my pull list, the things that I'm reading, the things that I'm enjoying, and just some general, bits and bobs about the store as well. So in the last week, it's been a good busy week actually, which is surprising given the absolutely horrible weather we're unfortunately enduring at the moment. But no, plenty of footfall, plenty of people coming in. I would say that there are a few pull lists that are starting to pile up a little bit, so I'm probably going to start sounding like a broken record here. But if you can't get into it, or you want to cut down on pull lists or anything like that, just get in touch with us. There are a few that are slightly concerning me at the moment that are starting to pile up a little bit. And we're going to reevaluate it at the end of this month going forward. I've been contemplating maybe just holding pull lists for 3 months at a time, and I think 3 months is more than fair. It's never been something I've wanted to enforce, but this year going forward, it's something we're just going to have to do. As I say, I've pull lists down there going into the 30, 40, 50 issues, and it's hundreds of pounds for the business. It's a little frustrating, but we have to find a way to combat it. And there's people missing out on certain titles as well because other people are holding them. Then they're not coming for them, and then by then, people have lost interest, and it's a vicious circle, and it's an interesting industry to say the least. And we always want to be as fair as possible to people and make sure they get what they're after. But it has to be a two-way process. It has to be a case of, if you're ordering things with us, please do come in for them. But it is what it is. Again, I always sound negative when I'm talking about this kind of stuff, but again, 90 to 95% of our customers are amazing. Always in consistently. Always happy to be here, always appreciate what we do, because that's the other thing, doing pull lists. We've that many now that doing pull lists, between organizing, bagging and boarding and doing it, it's just me that does it. You're talking 10 to 12 hours. It's a pretty big commitment getting it done. So we like to think that the least 10 people can do is pick them up. But as I say, again, I don't want to be negative. 90 to 95% of our customers are great. So, but just again, if you're having trouble getting in, just drop us a message. We're not that scary, as I always like to say. There's been a few people asking about CGCs. There seems to be a massive CGC backlog at the moment. I got invoiced around 5 weeks ago for our latest batch, paid them straight away. Didn't get any update. Message last week. They then got back to me and said they're dealing with the backlog and they'll get them to us as quickly as possible. I can't guarantee turnaround on CGCs at the moment. I've seen some horror stories online, on different forums and so forth, saying it's taken up to 9 months at the moment. Now, I don't like to think it'll be that long, but I'll always keep you guys up to date and share it through social media and different bits and pieces as well, just to keep you guys updated. But we will still be sending off at the end of this month. So again, if there's anything you'd like sent off by us, just get in touch and we're more than happy to facilitate that. In terms of the store itself, I got a rake of manga in there last week. The manga section is positively bursting. I've managed to do around 40 new comic packs in the last week. So getting new, mini-series, runs, that kind of thing. So if you're more of a single issue collector and you like complete stories, that's why we always keep that section really highly stocked. I'm going to be moving in one or two things around the store as well. I might reorganize the trades in the next few weeks, just give Marvel its own section, give DC its own section. At the moment, those two are mixed together and it can be a little frustrating, probably for the customer as well as for me, but I think it just work better as separate sections. So I'm going to look at getting that done in the next few weeks. So yeah, always plenty on the go with it. Tons of stuff ordered in this week as well. Loads of back stock, loads of new stock as well. So, but yeah, that's by and large everything from us at the store. So I'll jump into everything I have for this week. So I'll kick things off with my pull list, as I always like to. I have to be honest, even myself, I'm starting to cut down that a little bit. I never want reading comics to become a chore or to become a noose around my neck that I have to try and get finished. It's an art form I love, it's an art form I enjoy, and therefore I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my comics week on week. I got caught up recently. I like to stay caught up on a weekly basis. So, I say I'm cutting down, but it's that's what it is. Anyway, so kicking on things this week is Batman One Bad Day Being. So this is from the creative team of Joshua Williamson and Howard Porter. For anybody keeping up to date, it really should have been Batman One Bad Day Catwoman at this point, but there seems to be a delay on that. I think it's towards the end of January now. But I suppose with these, they're not released in any specific order. You know, it's not an ongoing storyline or a sequential storyline. So it's not a bad thing. I go for these ones which are called the premium variants. There's nothing premium about them other than they're in the same sort of design. But done by Giuseppe Camuncoli, and I just really, really like them. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing this week is Nightwing 100, undoubtedly one of the titles of the week. I like to think this will provide a jumping on point for you if you're looking at getting into Nightwing. I also think it'll be a culmination of everything of Tom Taylor's run so far. And that cover is just absolutely glorious from Bruno Redondo. Also this week, Bat-related, is Batman Fortress number 8. I always go for the variants here, so it's a Ken Lashley variant this month. This is the 8th issue of the Derek Robertson drawn Batman Fortress series with Gary Whitta writing. And I've really enjoyed this 8-issue series, as I say, so that'll be hitting trade soon. And then the last well, sort of the last Batman, let's be honest, DC know where their money's made. Batman Superman World's Finest, so again, continuing Mark Waid, Dan Mora, continue on with that, with I Will Be Done. Been loving Batman Superman, something gloriously nostalgic about it, but it is also starting to line up with the other stuff Waid's doing. I mean, Mark Waid is sort of quietly taking over the DC universe at the moment, you know, between World's Finest, between Batman vs. Robin, Lazarus Planet, you know, he's quietly getting his feet back under the door. Speaking of Batman-related stuff, but it doesn't have Batman in it normally, is GCPD The Blue Wall. So loving this. This is John Ridley and Stefano Raffaelli continuing on with their, you know, look at being a rookie cop in Gotham City. I'd mentioned Lazarus Planet there, so the next one up is... So Lazarus Planet's basically going to be a series of one-shots, so you can pick them up as you like them, or as certain characters you like, that kind of thing. So we're kicking things off with DC Lazarus Planet Assault on Krypton. So this is your Superman-related corner. Lovely David Marquez cover there, so anthology based, and again we'll cover that corner of the DC universe. One of my favorite titles, I love it every time this comes back. This is called Barbaric. It's from Michael Morecki and Nathan Gooden, and it's basically Conan but even more grown up and vulgar. Always tons of fun. It has a bloodthirsty axe in it that talks. It needs fed blood on a regular basis. Just really good character work, but just really fun stuff as well. So that's the latest volume called Hell to Pay. There have been a couple of trades before them, which we have downstairs if you fancy getting into it from the beginning. A title that sold really well in the last week, probably because I bang on about it all the time, is Grimm, to do with the Grim Reapers. This is Stephanie Phillips, who of course is starting to do some big things at Marvel. You know, if you check out the previews video that I did just before this one, going into the Marvel book, she's doing at least 2 or 3 books there, so starting to get really, really noticed. But Grimm is fantastic. One of my favorite books around horror, a little bit of comedy, good character work, and a good central mystery to it as well. So we're up to issue 7. Trades, of course, are downstairs for issues 1 to 5. This is a book that when this hits trade, I'm going to push it to the hills. It's called Chroma. It's by Lorenzo De Felici, who was the artist on Oblivion Song, written by Robert Kirkman, of course. But for this one, they're both writing and drawing. This is a long time life labor of love. There's testimonies at the back of the book, certainly at the back of issue 1, going into where the idea came from, how long it's been going. And it's all about a world devoid of color. Absolutely love this book. There's only me and one other guy in store on this, and I really wish there was more on it. But they are bigger size books. They are $8 books, but I think it's going to be 4 issues just so when it hits trade, hopefully it has a more value level in terms of its pricing. New issue of Old Dog this week, of course. You know, friend of the store, Declan Shelby, up to issue 3, continuing his one-man odyssey to take over Image Comics. Writing, drawing, inking, coloring, lettering, pretty much a bit of everything covers. But yeah, we're up to issue 3 here of 5, which is of the first story arc. This is one I thought I'd throw a bit of love to from Scout Comics, which I really, really like. And again, I'm the only person reading it. It's called She Bites, and it's all to do with this little teenage vampire who needs an adult to, you know, basically help them navigate the modern world. So, of course, because she's a little girl and because she's stuck in this body, she can't drink, she can't smoke, she can't get access to clubs, all these kind of things. So she basically needs like a babysitter. But there's a ton of horror to this. I really, really like this. I jumped on it a few months back. Yeah, it's called She Bites. I'll definitely be getting the trades of that in case it's something you missed out on. Up to the latest issue, Something is Killing the Children as well. So continue on with James Tynion IV, the Murder Deladera's wonderful Monster Odyssey. Up to issue 28 this month, and another glorious cover. Good month, good week as always, a week with Walking Dead Deluxe. Believe it or not, we're at issue 55 already, so we're well over a quarter of the way there into The Walking Dead, and it's as good as I always remember. So, of course, Deluxe, it being in colour, and the cutting room floor stuff at the back of the issues is always great. This is actually from last week, but I didn't have enough copies to cover myself, so I held off a week. But we're continuing on with Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, which of course is crossing over with Punisher at the moment and doing really good stuff there. So issue 7 of Daredevil, which then crosses into this week's issue of Punisher, which is issue 9. Jason Aaron, Jesus Says, and Paul Azaceta continuing with that. And again, really enjoying Punisher at the moment. And then we finish off with a Venom issue, which ties into Dark Web as well. So I'm up to date with the Spider-Man portion of Dark Web, which I've been really enjoying. Peter Parker stuck in hell, basically. And yeah, really enjoying the Venom side of things as well. So that's my pull list. There are, of course, other things out this week that I'm not on. There were a couple of Star Wars titles, for example. I believe it's Bounty Hunters this week and Han Solo Chewbacca. You know, there's Avengers. There's a couple of other bits and pieces I'm not on. But as I say, can't read everything. We'll move away from there and we'll move into what's new in this week. And again, it's its usual mix of restocks, new releases, a highly anticipated omnibus coming up in this week, which also forms part of my pull list, which we'll get to in a wee second. But first off, we're going to kick things off with Above Snakes. So this is a new one from Sean Lewis and Hayden Sherman. So Sean Lewis is writing King Spawn at the moment. Hayden Sherman was the artist on Scott Snyder's Dark Spaces Wildfire, which is really, really good. So this is basically a Fast and Furious, well, don't let those 3 words put you off, explosion of Western tropes and American vengeance that explores where our rage can take us. So this was a 5-issue miniseries and all collected in this one volume. One for you Buffy fans out there, so this is The Vampire Slayer. This is more to do with a new person taking on the mantle though. So after Buffy loses her powers, it's up to a new Slayer to take up the mantle. Are they ready? So this is done by Sarah Gailey, I believe, who wrote Eat the Rich, which is very, very good, and doing a title at the moment called Know Your Station. But yeah, branches out the Buffy world. It's not a week if there's not Epic Collections coming in. So this is X-Men Epic Collection. This is volume 4. So this covers the 70s when it comes to X-Men. So 1971 to 1975. So you'll see some of the names on there. Steve Englehart, Len Wein, Sal Buscema, Herb Trimp, Gil Kane. Tons of great creators working on this. This covers Amazing Adventures issues, Amazing Spider-Man issues, Incredible Hulk issues, Marvel Team-Up issues, Avengers issues, Captain America, and Defenders. Yeah, curiously, is X-Men. So this one's, it's always darkest before the dawn, as anybody who has seen The Dark Knight knows. Speaking of amazing stuff, Volume 3 of That Texas Blood is this week. This is a title that I will shout about from the rooftops about how great it is. This is possibly the best arc yet, the 3rd one. This is following a serial killer called the Red Queen Killer. And I just absolutely adore this. Chris Condon, Jacob Phillips. Might be chatting to those guys again soon on a wee podcast. Just to talk more and more about this. Because honestly, this is one of the best things you will read in comics right now. Next up is Absolution. This was a fun title. This was all to do with like a reality TV show where criminals are thrown into it. And the only way for them to get out is to entertain the TV audience by doing gruesome kills and cool stuff and all this kind of thing. It was 5 issues in total. A new take on the Hunger Games / Running Man for the live streaming age. So as ever with AWA, it's a $10 book, so £9, and that's a complete one and done. I already talked about how amazing That Texas Blood is. Public domain is equally up there. So Volume 1, Past Mistakes. This is Chip Zdarsky, writing and drawing. And this is basically all about creator rights and a guy who gave them up years ago but now sees like the characters he created in movies and TV shows and merchandise making a fortune. And his 2 kids are determined to try and get their dad the rights back to it. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful book from Chip Zdarsky. Just a wee top up here, which is Sandman Book 2. We've got all 4 volumes of Sandman back in stock. So if you enjoyed the TV show, if you want to get into one of the best comics ever written, these books are one of the best ways to do it. So with this one, for example, there's a good 18 issues in there. 19 issues in total, so plenty to sink your teeth into. I went on a wee bit of an Eternals binge, just some of the stuff to get in, because the Kieran Gillen and Esad Ribic stuff has been amazing through Marvel Comics. So first 2 volumes are here. First one being Only Death is Eternal, which covers issues 1 to 6. We jump onto that for Hail Thanos, and this one is 7 to 12, and then it finishes off going up to 18, and there's another volume solicited, so that'll be along soon. But then also got some of the classic Eternal stuff in. This is written by Neil Gaiman. All ties together, you see? Sandman, Eternals. Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr. on art for this one as well. So this was a complete storyline, Eternals 1 to 7, and very, very highly regarded. Again, just doing some top-ups. So we got The Boys, Volume 6 of 6. We always try to get as many of these omnibuses in stock at any one time as we can. 6 volumes covers the whole story, so everyone reads it at their own pace, and the new series should be back soon. Back in stock, Follow Me Down, which is a Reckless book. So continuing on with the wonderful Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is the 5th volume of the saga of Ethan Reckless. And again, if you check out the previous podcast, you'll see what Brubaker and Phillips are doing next, and it looks equally as good. But this, I mean, I always say that there's a thing such as recency bias. I've read all 5 Reckless books, and obviously whatever one you read most recently might have a slight bias that you think it's the best, but that really is the best. That is the best so far. Fantastic stuff. We got Secret Wars in last week, but this week we received the Alex Ross cover instead. So we do have the original cover from Secret Wars number 1. Still, I think we're at 6 of them, and I think we've only 2 left. So there is those. But what we have here is the Alex Ross cover, if you so prefer. Again, £68 book, but we do it at 63 again. We always try to, give value where we can. Another epic collection, this time for Spider-Man. So this is volume 23. This covers 1992. So this covers Amazing Spider-Man 361 to 367, as well as annual, some mini-series here, Amazing Spider-Man Soul of the Hunter, and material from Spider-Man Annual 12 and Web of Spider-Man. So David Michelini, you've got Mark Bagley working on this, some great creators working on this volume, The Hero Killers. Next up we have a Miss Marvel graphic novel. So this was a series of one-shots where Miss Marvel was teaming up with different characters. So she was teaming up with Moon Knight, she was teaming up with Wolverine, she was teaming up with Venom. All in these one-shots, but they've all been collected into one volume there. So Miss Marvel Fists of Justice. We have the 4th volume of Batman Urban Legends, which brings Urban Legends to a close, which brought us up to issue 18. And yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed the Urban Legends stuff. Some stories have been better than others, it's undeniable. But you've had some great creators working on this, and their stuff is showcased here. We have the latest volume of Good Boy, Volume 2. Good Boy, otherwise known as John Wick, but the dog lives and John Wick dies and the dog seeks revenge. Just tremendous fun. I collect that in single issues. Latest volume of Farmhands. So this is covering Farmhands 16 to 20. And yeah, I've loved Farmhand all the way through. Just Rob Guillory, fantastic book. And then 2, just to finish off with, I will go first of all with Suicide Squad Blaze, which is the latest DC Black Label title to hit collected hardcover. This was from Simon Spurr and Aaron Campbell, the team behind the fantastic Hellblazer run. And this collects the entire run. Really, really fun, this. Really adult, quite vulgar, quite violent. Reminds me of James Gunn's Suicide Squad in terms of tone quite a bit. But the pièce de résistance this week, Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2. I had never read Ultimate Spider-Man before, so I started collecting them in omnibuses. It's about there somewhere. But I absolutely adored the first volume of Amazing Ultimate Spider-Man. So it's Brian Michael Bendis writing, it's Mark Bagley on art, and that's a team that is the whole way through. Now with this one, you do have 1 or 2 extra artists involved, but that's because there is a tie-in series put in with this, which is Ultimate 6, which was drawn by Trevor Hairsing. I've got Joe Quesada doing covers. But this works out really well because we're away this weekend. Vicky and I are away over to England to see her family. And the Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 was my read the last time we went to England. So the timing of this is perfect. I look forward to reading this over the next week. So Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2. So yeah, that is going to do it for us today. That's this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show. Hope you enjoyed it as ever. Hope it's proven useful. Hopefully if you're venturing out over the door, tomorrow or today, depending when I drop this, the Wednesday. I will be here the Wednesday, but as I say, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, Chris will be here, and then next week it's back to normal. I'll be back for the Monday delivery and go from there. So again, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you're staying safe out there. More importantly, I hope you're staying warm, and hopefully I'll see you in the store soon regardless. But stay safe and take it easy.